I started as a shooter, believe it or not. High school, junior high, AAU. Started as a shooter, and then when I realized that the Shaq character was feared as a powerful player, I stuck to that.
John said earlier in the show, you can't write this stuff in Hollywood. The kid writes it himself.
It looked like at first that Steele was waving it off, and they didn't see a punch.
Bruce, can you tell us what happened?
Well, LeBron James, he's been nothing short of spectacular this whole postseason. It's almost like it's scripted. It's like, okay, LeBron James.
You don't know how I practice. You don't know what I'm out here doing. Just because you follow a script, don't mean I follow that script. So I might do that, boo-boo.
Just because you follow a script, don't mean I follow that script. So I might do that.
And so we like to put ourselves in a box.
I'm down the court and I'm seeing him go up in motion to shoot the shot. I'm like, he can't hit this shot. It's not scripted this way. And it's my moment.
Terry.
By the beleaguered Mark Sanchez.
And it couldn't have been scripted better. Pressure up the middle. This is where they know they can affect Mark Sanchez and his throw.
Choreographed all this. He scripted this whole situation. So he's not going to come back unless he's going to come back with a bang and he's looking good. You can believe that.
Kawhi, you are a man of few words. I'm not sure what he's thinking, Joe. He comes in, he's got him down.
You don't write a script like this. Well, maybe some people write scripts like this, but
They win Oscars.
Yeah, they win Oscars. So this is an Oscar-worthy script for Last Dance for my last season.
You're not an all-time actor if you show up every other day. Doesn't matter if you, as an actor, don't have the temperament to work back to back.
4 or 5 years, as many have predicted. Is that good for the league, bad for the league?
For me, this is the ultimate in reality programming. I think ultimately...
For me, this is the ultimate in reality programming.
I feel so bad.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Are you that good an actor?
No, you
I can't even tell anymore.
No, you don't.
You know I wouldn't do that.
You that good an actor? I can't even tell anymore. I wouldn't do that.
The NBA world is very, it's like a sitcom now. Or not a sitcom, like a...
Drama?
Yeah, it's a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Schaub now has had an interception return for a touchdown in each of the last 3 games. It's tied for the longest streak in NFL history. And you wouldn't think that you'd be tied for a record like that with Peyton Manning and with John Elway. That's good company anyway.
Usually that's a good sign.
Right. Third and 6. Schaub from the gun. 49ers with a 4-man rush. And then Schaub has this one picked off. And this is Brock running in for a touchdown. And Matt Schaub has to look on in utter disbelief. This can't be happening. It's a nightmare for him. 4 pick sixes on 4 successive games.
Just a trap coverage. It happens all the time. This guy sits right on it, comes off on the underneath breaker. They make it look like man coverage. And for Matt Schaub, the nightmare, and I do mean nightmare.
Catch him. Neil Brown at the top of the screen, 4 catches, 25 yards. He's had this long streak of at least 5 catches for 50 yards going. Here's Paul breaking the tackle and then tries to high step it to juke the defender.
Nice job by Dumerville there.
Outside, you see Lewis to safety, and then...
You have to really think, here we are.
Outside, you see Lewis the safety, and then nobody makes the tackle. And you have to really think here.
Now first down for Tampa Bay. They needed that completion to Ben, and now they get a good run from Blunt. He won't go down. LeGarrette Blunt, what a run! List of the year.
Desmond Bishop, 55, is right in the hole for what would have been basically no gain. And then there's 5 or 6 guys that have.
Try to just win any way we can, play one play at a time, and execute, but I take it, 2-0 if it comes that way, or 45-42 if it comes that way, as long as we win, I'm happy.
Clay, you told me in the locker room last week, I don't care if we win games 2-0 or 45-42. You're the only man in America who saw 45-42 coming.
Yeah, I tell you, it just means we're on the right track. Guys trying to tell me something that was crazy.
Everybody's been talking about.
What ends up happening is each of these people are characters now. They're not anonymous. They've had a Facebook show. We've seen them front and center doing a lot of interviews and things of that nature. So each of these characters now get a chance to play out in this story.
From nearby Catskill, undefeated. I think in the first round you'll probably miss him. Mike.
Kenley Jansen and the Dodgers take game 1 of the World Series. And Kenley, if there was a script, the perfect script for you, how close did you all follow it tonight with Kershaw going 7, Morrow going 1, and you going the last 3?
There it is. There it is. It's just like we scripted it. I don't know if you scripted maybe you hit a home run to win the game in the 10th inning, but really it doesn't make any difference.
And it worked perfectly, as scripted. Brian Kenny was celebrating in Montclair, New Jersey. 1 hit through 8. Generally, he's one of the relievers.
And it worked perfectly, as scripted.
Where players get started. Imagine if it were like in single-A baseball, that there were huge amounts of betting going on. And obviously tennis is a sport that is probably the most easy to manipulate in a betting situation because it's one-on-one. And all you need is one player, and it's quite easy. Me having been a player and, of course, having been around the game my entire life, I can tell you guys that I could throw a match or throw parts of a match and basically nobody could ever know. And that's the problem that tennis has. Now, the powers that be realized this about 5 years ago, and online betting, particularly for these low-level tournaments, became rampant. You know that tennis is the second most bet-on sport in the world behind soccer. So it's way ahead of the NFL, and that's because there's so many tournaments going on all over the world. And in fact, you can bet as much on a tournament where literally players are playing for prize money of $250, $500. You can bet whatever amounts of money you want, just as you could bet on, for example, a big match at Wimbledon or the US Open. So that's why tennis is under the microscope right now. And when the powers that be realize this.
Okay, I get it. I get some tension in the room. Let's just address it. Why the hell did they get me to host this thing? No, I'm serious. Biggest night in sports? They couldn't go out and get. Instead, they hand it to a guy who spends most of his life in jean shorts and is actually proud of it. Why? Why did they go get a guy from the redheaded stepchild of sport and entertainment? Why did ESPN get a host from the WWE? I mean, it's rigged. Did I just spoil the surprise for some of the people? It's scripted entertainment. What we do is fake, right? So I know what you're thinking. Me hosting the ESPYs, that's crazy. Or is it genius? It's time to take a look at yourself, sports, and realize that you're more like the WWE than you have ever imagined. I'm going to start with the NBA. Cleveland won something. That's actually impossible. There is no way that wasn't scripted. LeBron, you used to be a good guy, and then you turned into a bad guy, and now you're a good guy again? And you left the NBA hanging. What are they going to do when they don't have a bad guy? Exactly what we do. They're going to make a new one. My hat's off to football, though. They got it right this year. Our beloved hero. He was sidelined. Looks like all hope was lost. Helpless in the clutches of his arch nemesis. But in the moment of truth, Peyton comes off the bench, wins the championship, and rides off into the sunset with the love of his life. I was pushing for you and Papa John. But that's not the only thing football gets right. I mean, they build characters. Odell Beckham Jr. Hell, he already looks like a WWE superstar. He is one parent away from being Coco Beware. But I will admit, here's the one place that the WWE has you beat, the one thing we have that you don't. Vince McMahon. A maniacal billionaire pulling the strings behind the scenes who uses every trick in the book to manipulate things to his advantage any way he can. Something like that is way too crazy for real sports. Or maybe we have more in common than you think. Maybe on the biggest night where sport meets entertainment, they got the perfect host. So, let's tell some jokes, right?
Nigga, it's called television programming. They telling you visually to program. You being programmed, nigga.